In this video, which is the fifth of this series on the basic LMS instruction, we're going to be looking at setting up our coursework, which are the various assessments that you'll be using in your course. Again, doing this early before the beginning of the course allows the students to plan out their activities. Again, the sooner they know this, the better time management they can utilize. And again, that's something we emphasize throughout our advising. So the first thing we should do is take a look at how this defaults. This defaults by units, and we find that, at least I have found over the years, that I'd much rather do it by types. So I can go into the configuration here and change it from units to types. That'll group them by exams, quizzes, papers, homework assignments, etc. Next, we want to talk about how we communicate with our students. The system allows students to make comments about their assignments. They can make comments before the due date, after the due date, after the grading. I find it's a good way to communicate with students, and you always want to have that communication. It also cuts down in questions being asked during the course, particularly at night when time is always an issue. So I can handle a lot of their questions and comments privately. If there's an issue with an assignment, which I'm getting a lot of comments, I can address it in class before the due date, or send out a email to all the students that will allow clarification. And I also like to be notified when a student makes a comment, so I'm going to click that box so I receive an email. If I'm checking my emails on my phone or at home, it alerts me to any kind of issues that students are having. So now we can take a look at the various types of assessments that are defaulted into the system. You can make changes to the default. Here in my course, I'm only going to use exam, homework, papers, participation, which would basically be in-class work that is part of the active learning environment. It's not graded for correctness, but instead for completeness. So to my mind, that is participation. In other courses, it may be taking part in discussions or doing assignments on the board, volunteering for certain tasks. Again, that's all customizable to your course. If you don't want to include a type that is given on the default menu, you just hit the little trash can. If you want to change the name, say I wanted to change it from participation to in-class work, I could do that. I could add a type if I want by clicking on the add type. All right, so now that I have the type set up, I can go ahead and add an assignment. Let me start with the final exam. And for this basic introduction, I'm going to choose the basic format. Would make more sense than that. This allows me to advise the students of the dates of the assignments, the nature of the assignment, and give them some description of it and some instructions, and then allow me to manually enter the grade from the assignments. These other formats are talked about in the more advanced LMS learning videos. All right, so here I'm going to name the assignment Final Exam, ACC 212, Fall 2014. Again, we only have one unit in this course, and this is an exam. It's required. We'll leave it to default, and we'll set the due date, and this will be taking place sometime in December. Let's call it December 9th. And we'll say that the exam starts at 10 and will end at 11:55 a.m. Again, I can go in, I can change this if I get notified of a different date or time. I want to show this on the calendar, but I don't want to open it yet. Now I have the option of manually opening this later, or I can put the time that the exam begins, which we'll just say is 10, well, a little before 10. Let's open it at 9:55 a.m. and that's going to be on the exam date 12/9/2014. And this exam will be worth 25% of their overall grade, or 250 points, since I use a 1,000 point system. Now I can choose to show the grade once I have entered the grades in. If this was online testing where some students complete their exam sooner than others, you may not want to show the grade until after the due date has passed, if the grading is being done automatically. For the basic, this works fine. I like communicating the overall class average to the students, so I'll click on that. And then I'll give a brief description, and I'll say the final exam is cumulative and it consists of 25 multiple choice questions and 3 short problems. That description will be shown to the students right away. If you want to leave more detailed instructions, you would leave it down here. Use the answer sheets provided. Now again, you can put much more detailed instruction in there if you have them. And again, that will not be displayed to the students until the exam opens. So now you click on Save Your Assignment. And as you can see here, it has been added to the exam type. If you want to see what the students see, change your view. And as of this point, since it's not open, they can't see it. If you want them to be able to see it, which you should, and I really wanted to, I'm going to go back and hit that pencil to edit. I could change anything, but now all I want to do is add that display to the student before it opens. I'm going to hit Save My Assignment. Go back and now see if the students can see the date of the exam and a little description, and yeah, they can. All right, so we want to go back to our faculty view, and let's add a different type. Let's add a quiz. So we're going to add a quiz. Again, we're going to use the basic format, and we'll say this is quiz number 1, and we're going to change the type to quiz. It's going to be given on, let's say, August 28th, and it's going to be due by the close of class, which let's say is 12:35. And we're going to show the date. We want to display it to the students before it opens, but let's, for argument's sake, say it's the date of the quiz, and I want to show it as open now. So I could show you how to grade in the coursework. And again, I want to show the class average. I could add a description. I can add instructions. And when I save the file, you'll see it's showing as blue, which means it's open and the students can work on it. From the student view, they would be able to go in and see. Since we're assuming this is a paper exam, let's say I've collected the papers and graded them. I can then click on the assignment and go in and manually grade the student's work. If they've got 100, I would click on the full box. If they have a partial, I would click on the middle box and enter a grade. If for some reason they got everything wrong or didn't take the exam and I wasn't going to allow a makeup, I would give them a grade of 0. Sometimes when a student's absent, I will give them a grade of 0 to catch their attention. If I want to allow them to take the exam at a different, at a future date, a makeup exam or a quiz, I could go in and manually change that grade once it's been entered. So let me go ahead and complete all of my coursework, and I'll come back and I'll show you how that integrates into the gradebook. So I've gone through and I've entered all of the various assignments that are on my syllabus, and you can now see that I've added the midterm, the case study, the participation grade, and quizzes. All of these are set up in the basic format. At a given point in time, if I wanted to switch to a different format, I can do that through the editing feature. So let's say I wanted to switch quiz 1 to an online format. I can do that by changing the format here. Say I did not want this quiz to be open right now, I could close it, and I want to display that to the students, but I don't want them to see any of the instructions or any documents that I have associated with this quiz. We could see that when I was entering quiz 3, I did not make it visible. Well, I want all my assignments to be visible. So I'm going to go and I'm going to edit again by hitting that little pencil, and I'm going to click on display that to the students. By entering all our coursework prior to the beginning of the term, you will then see that all of that is displayed on the home page of the course, so students at a glance can see what's coming up. They can time manage. If I did not want this redundancy between the coursework and the calendar, and if the coursework is going to be the bulk of my calendar, I might click on this admin and get rid of the calendar dates, or I can get rid of the coursework dates since they're both the same. Click Save. Now, just the fact that the quiz is due on the 28th, and the upshowing, there's not that duplication now. So that's the basics of setting up the coursework, and the beauty of that is it integrates with the gradebook. When we view the gradebook for the first time, it's asking us, do we want to include attendance in the grade? I don't believe in that. I believe in the participation by doing, so I'm going to click No. If you do decide to use attendance as part of your overall grade, remember our guidelines is that it should be no greater than 10% of the overall course unless there's some type of overriding circumstance that is based on the course. If there's a lot of group participation and you feel that attendance is very important to participation with the group, I guess you could make that higher, but in general we don't want a lot of show-up points. All right, once we've set up our coursework, we can review the weighting of each of the assignments. And again, I use a 1,000-point system. You can use 100 points. You can use a percentage. And then this shows me that I have accurately set up my coursework so that all of the assignments equal 1,000 points. As the course goes on and I enter grades in each of the assignments, the student will receive the number of points they've received to date and their grade to date. the system will automatically do that. Uh, if we go back to the uh, home of the gradebook, uh, we can verify that the grades that the system defaults to match our syllabus. And again, this is based on college policy. Uh, as you can see, there is no A plus and there is no uh, D minus anymore. They have gotten around to getting rid of those. Um, you really should not change the grade scale since it is carried in the catalogs as such. Uh, if you want to award bonus credits, if a student is very close to receiving the next grade, uh, the system has that capability of giving extra credit along with the feedback. So hopefully you'll see that this very basic course setup and gradebook integration provides a lot of useful information for you and for the student. The other thing is at the end of the term, with one click, once the grading system, the course entry grade system is open, with one click you can immediately send your grades to the system. You don't have to go through the manual inputting of the grades on the course entry system.